Fashion expresses who we are, while water sustains who we are. Our guest today is someone who can be described as a traveler, a thinker, a dreamer, and a designer. Anju Modi is more than a highly acclaimed fashion designer. She's a storyteller of India's soul. Over the decades, she has ensured that every ensemble is exquisitely decorated to reflect, enhance, and celebrate the cultural history and as a tribute to modern feminism. From regal bridal wear to cinematic masterpieces in Bollywood, Anju Modi's creations are not just garments, they are poetry in fabric, carrying whispers of history and the spirit of timeless beauty. Her work has received several recognitions and won awards for blockbuster Bollywood films such as Bajirao Mastani and Goliyon Ki Ras Leela, Ram Leela by Sanjay Leela Bhansali, and has been a fashion inspiration for many a bride's scene. Haute couture is not just about distinctive designs and innovative cuts and unique styles, but flowing garments characterized by soft silhouettes. Does water serve as an inspiration in the world of fashion? Let's find out. Welcome to Waterlogues, and I am your host Priti Agarwal with my co-host Seema Agarwal. Ma'am, it is an absolute pleasure and an honor to have you on Waterlogues today. At the outset, congratulations on the priceless contribution you've made to the fashion industry. You truly make a fine ambassador of India to the world.
Totally. It's my pleasure to be here, and your subject is very, very necessary for us to understand nowadays. I mean, it has been the times where we used to take water for granted,
Absolutely.
but
absolutely.
now it is.
And it's a part of every industry. It's just that people are realizing it now. You know, it's always been there. Seema, you've known Anjuji for a while, so I think it's only appropriate if you start this conversation. So over to you.
As someone who has such in depth knowledge and decades of experience in this field, what are your thoughts on the evolution of fashion? Also, what is it in the traditional styles that you are so passionate about and you work very hard to preserve them?
Well, that's a very deep question, Seema. I love you for that because I'm able to answer the real depth and meaning behind it. I do use traditional styles a lot in my collections, which is should be wearable as of today's times. But why am I so much uh, partial towards heritage design is because those techniques and the crafts are priceless, they are timeless, and I respect the craftspeople for that because they are in their frugal lifestyle. They keep doing it with their hands beautifully, and the technique is not lost. The technique is handed over to the next generation and then the next generation. And there is no school to teach this technique. Only the craftspeople can teach their children. You have to be in that very household from the childhood time to learn it. So I can understand the precious knowledge and the beauty behind it and the intelligence behind it. So this is one of my major reasons that I keep using our heritage designs, our traditional styles a little in a contemporary way so that the modern world keeps using it, it doesn't get lost, and at the same time it has those kind of a beautiful flavor to it. And why am I calling it beautiful? Because if something is not lost since 500 years or 1000 years, that means it is coming from the divine source.
How beautiful.
And that's the reason it is still alive.
Absolutely. And I think you also fuse it with the modern times. So it becomes like a beautiful combination. I think, Didi, this is where you need to do a catwalk.
Yes.
You know, because you swirl the pallu around. She's obviously dressed in an Anju Modi creation, and you can see how
Yeah,
beautiful and modern yet traditionally elegant it is.
absolutely.
So,
So all I can say is that I'm a proud owner of this beautiful
absolutely.
sari, and which has such a new age vibe.
And I wanted to promote the herbs and the
Yeah.
natural, the green of the country and wherever. So I printed those in thyme and vanilla and so
Very
and created a
innovatively
sari.
portrayed, I think, and yet very gracefully
Yes, yes.
displayed.
So I'm so
So,
happy that Seemaji could understand it and then buy it off from me.
and carry it off so gracefully.
Yes, absolutely. Totally my pleasure.
Well, that has been tutored by her.
So, if I can describe this and bring this in terms of water, I could say that, just like water adapts to a container, I think fashion adapts to culture. And traditionally, our culture has a very deep symbolic connection with water, which is evident in the traditional outfits. And you've done such extensive research in the history, in the heritage of fashion industry. When was the first time you identified this connection?
The connection with the water, you mean to
The
say?
connection with the water and the culture and how it displays in the fashion.
Yes. See, the clothing part is a
Right.
part of the evolution of the mankind, right?
Right.
So the way it was in the Stone Age, then they started dressing themselves with the tree barks and things like that.
Right.
But the thing is, the civilization developed besides the water. Wherever it is the Ganges or the Indus Valley civilization, because the water nurtures the life and the mankind. If the water is around, it is being taken care of their livelihood, their farming and their day-to-day needs, and the mind is relaxed and not so stressed about from where will they eat, how will they survive. So the survival is taken care of by the water, by its
Right.
beautiful properties around, so that
Right.
it is creating the grains and fruits and everything. So the human mind then goes into another mode where it starts creating.
Right.
And then when it creates, then it writes poetry, it writes literature, it creates those beautiful musical numbers. And in that very manner, then they started weaving and painting and then doing those beautiful embroideries as a part of the decorating the garment. So the minute you are relaxed and you are not taking care of your day-to-day bread and butter, that's somehow taken care by the
Right. The
surroundings.
creativity opens up.
Yes, your
Yeah.
creativity opens up, your um, divine feelings gets pushes you, and that's, I think that's how
Yeah.
the art and culture is still there.
That's true. I've also noticed that you use a lot of waves in your design.
Oh yes,
And I think that's
my
quite
waves are there in
that's
my
quite
this
water related. So I
very
think
much.
and it has been happening from I don't know how many years. So I think that's something that water has probably inspired the designer initially ki, make those different layers, different waves, droplets ki prints hoti hain, there are a lot of these
Yeah,
creative
see,
ideas that
I
come into
I get inspired
fashion.
by nature. So nature is a part of water also. Water is nurturing the
Absolutely.
trees and the fruits, then of course the lotuses, flowers and
Yes,
everything, right?
absolutely.
So uh, it's not exactly like a, you can't really spell that okay, water is the only inspiration,
Of
but
course.
nature is my inspiration.
Right.
And I think that's how things keep evolving. And I get inspired by anything beautiful, a poetry, sometimes a beautiful musical number as her, yes. And when she sings so beautifully, and then it gives me certain ideas, and I won't say that it is all coming from, as if, I am doing something. It just comes to you.
Flows. Flows.
And that is what I feel, that if you are connected with the nature, you are connected with the whole universe.
Absolutely.
Certain things just comes to you, then you do your expressions, then it becomes a means for your livelihood. You take it, okay, this is my natural God gift talent. So you make use of it in
How
your way.
genuinely explained. That's so
Very,
beautiful.
Very well said. So, Anjuji, every collection of yours has a story woven into it. You were once asked, where do you find this inspiration from? And then you very rightly answered, or you said that my inspiration comes from my curiosity.
Oh, yes.
And here we are very curious to know what is this curiosity about. Please tell us more.
Well, curiosity is a very, very natural instinct of any human being. And here again, maybe I'm diverting from a little from this subject, is that as a child, you are so curious, you keep asking certain questions. And as elders, we think, what a silly thing to keep asking this. Okay, ये पानी यहाँ क्यों रखा है? पानी इसमें से गिरता क्यों नहीं है? How is it containing it? When we change the glass, how does the water changes the shape? So all these are, the curious mind means a questioning mind. And that is where I think my parents, they never kind of scolded us in that manner. They were scolding us enough and pitoing us enough for that matter, whatever naughtiness we used to do. But we used to get our answers. We never thought that we are being silly by asking these things. So this curiosity led me to different regional weaving places. When I went to Kota, so they were making those very checkered fabric, right? So I was curious, आप ये कपड़ा इतना झीना क्यों बनाते हैं? And they would say in their Marwari language कि बाईसा अठ इतनी गर्मी पड़ा so
When it's so hot that
everything
they need to air out.
exactly. So these are all the reasons why anything is done in which manner. There is always a logical reason behind it. So I learned the kota weaving like that. And now when the kota is being weaved, you cannot do a contouring, a round contouring in the weave, in the motifs. So always there used to be a geometric motif. In a graph paper, you cannot do a rounded flowers, right? So all these things, the curiosity led me to that. And then again, I started moving on. I made a collection, a beautiful collection out of kota fabric. And then I was feeling ki, okay, why not change it to the today's modern wearability? And they really don't want to wear so much of gold and shine all the time. So I introduced threads on the instead of gold wire. Zari was there, yes, for the weddings, but day to day wearing. Then I introduced a lotus flower, which is not very rounded. So I created those lotus flowers in a weave. And so somehow these kind of things came to my mind. Then I moved on to Kashmir. So that was so beautiful, so many
Full of
colors,
inspiration.
full of inspiration. And the craftspeople, I would say they are the real meditative people. And they are the most happy people. Because only if you are happy and focused in your work, you can do such fine work. And with the single thread, the way they will make their own Jamewar motif and all and everything, and I keep looking at them, keep admiring at their, level of patience. So learned a lot while traveling to so many different villages. And I traveled to 25 different villages of the whole country, from Kanyakumari to Kashmir, as we say, and from the Kutch, Gujarat to Manipur, Assam, everywhere. And my curiosity only led me to all these places.
So, have you been curious enough to design a collection inspired by water, or would you like to create one in the future?
Actually, I already did.
Oh, you did? Wow.
Yes, and that was not exactly the water was the inspiration, but the civilization besides water, which is Bengal. And because Ganges is really worshipped in that region, and every literature is written about the, about the Devi, about the influence of Ganges on the lifestyle of the Bengali lifestyle. So, Rabindranath Tagore, Bankim Chandra Chattopadhyay, Sharat Chattopadhyay, all these literary scholars were there, and they had written a novel called Devi.
Okay.
And the woman character was such, in fact, all the women characters of the Bengali literature is very strong. They are highly, you can say, fragile and delicate and beautiful and everything. But as a inner strength, they really have a strong personality as an inner spirit of the woman. So I took that Devi as my inspiration, and then on the ramp I created the ripples of water by, way of certain mirrors, putting it there, putting the water on the mirror, and then taking the camera in a way so that the audience can feel as if the models are walking on the water.
Wow.
And also, the very first presentation on that was that the saris they were wearing, which is like, when the sari is wet and it's kind of little crushed and crumpled. So I created those with the technique of, ruching and all that. And then they were putting the pallu on the shoulder. So there is a ritual in Bengal that every woman household will go to the Ganges, take their bathe, morning bathing, and then, wrap their wet sari on themselves and keep the pallu on the left shoulder like that. So that was one of my favorite collections still. And then, of course, then gradually after that, the woman evolved. They wore the red sari, and then I had called Madhuri Dixit as a showstopper because she had done Devdas.
Right.
So because of that, and then I did that finale song was done by Amitabh Bachchan ji, Ekla Chalo Re.
Beautiful.
So that was a beautiful track, and everything was about the water, reverence of water, worshipping the, the literary height of the whole sensitivity of the literature. So many things.
How beautifully depicted. So beautiful.
Nice, yeah. And because of this show, I read the whole Gitanjali of Rabindranath Tagore, because then I start doing research on the subject.
Right.
And then you tend to read many things and tend to go deeper into the subject.
So, Anjuji, which fabric is your personal favorite? And a fabric that you can totally depend on, no matter how you style it. And what would your favorite color palette be?
So, firstly, the first answer to your first question is I would say hand spun, hand woven khadi. It is such a beautiful fabric. It has its own character and it breathes. So in the summertime, it's cool. In the winter time, it gives you cozy feeling. So I love this material, and color palette is very much earthy, neutral. मैं हिंदी में रंगों को बताती हूँ हमेशा अपने डायर्स को. बादामी कलर, जब चंदन को आप घिसते हो तो जब चंदन गीला होता है वो रंग. केसरिया, लाल मिर्च के पाउडर का कलर, हल्दी कलर.
No, but this is so real because instantly you know what color you're talking
Exactly.
about, which shade you're talking about.
Yes, and the colors come from the nature again.
Of course.
तो हम और जो कलर कॉम्बिनेशन जो हमारी प्रकृति ने हमें दिए हैं वो अलग, एक अलग मिसाल है. So I think I play with colors a lot, but my favorites are, as I said, ecru, red, and turmeric yellow,
Tell us that for the amount of incredible work that you've done, I'm sure you've had to, sometimes push your boundaries and to meet your timelines, struggling to keep your head above water. I was reading an article where you mentioned very tight schedules on Bajirao Mastani.
Yes.
So tell us, how was it working for someone like Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who's known for his penchant for precision, an eye for detail? Tell us some interesting stories.
Well, while the movie was getting made, and while I was always on a tenterhooks कि अब क्या होगा, अब ये कहीं, while the scene is being enacted upon, कहीं spoil ना हो जाए garment, तो फिर मैं कहाँ से manage करूँगी, and all those kind of tensions used to be there. But I think it is one of my very, very luckiest project which I got, and to work with Sanjay Leela Bhansali, who is a maverick himself.
Indeed.
So, if a person is meticulous, he is a perfectionist, that tends to give you the reason to be the perfectionist. Though I myself am a very, very like a particular person, but that way one can say that we both matched each other. And that also the point is ki if you are have a listening ear, and if he's saying something and saying this will not work, so instead of defending myself, if I'm listening and understanding his point of view, then of course I come up with some another different solution or different suggestion. And the same happens with him also. If I'm saying ki, well, let's not do this, he will understand, listen, and give me the liberty to suggest
Explore.
what am I suggesting. So I think these two creative minds together will always reach to a third dimension. And that's how, it excelled. And that's how, on my own, I wouldn't have been able to make the costumes the way it was made and presented. So it's a credit of not only me at all, my team, the film people's team, the photographers, the actors, and more so the director.
Yeah, and I think in the end, he also complimented you, saying that your costumes are not just clothes, but are characters in themselves. So that
Oh,
must have been
yes, yes.
quite a feeling.
That was compliment wise, he was very generous, I would say. That was quite
Yeah.
and that used to, motivate you also to keep
Nahi,
on
of
doing
course,
good
of course,
things.
indeed.
So, Anju, you not only design costumes that become one with the character, but you have developed such techniques, new techniques over the years, like blended fabrics, prints, patterns throughout your creative journey. What was the motivation behind it?
See, I always felt that the usage of anything, fabric or anything, utility, should be always there. So, previous times, I would say 100 years before, in our country, everyone used to wear saris. The weavers knew only to make a rectangular cloth. And you go to any region, they will wear either the Nawari sari or a Bihari way of wearing a sari or a Bengali way of wearing a sari. So we were all wearer of saris. We didn't know how to stitch the garment, how to cut the armholes. And of course, the Britishers came and the Mughal came. So they brought in that knowledge and culture also. So we started cutting the fabric and stitching it. So the cutting of the fabric requires the slippage should not happen. Fabric should be sturdy enough to take on the curves and the weight and all the body movements, etc. So that brought me to the experimentation of strengthening the fabric by creating a blended fabric. All right, you make a thicker cotton warp and then make another lighter thread weft. So warp and weft will create the fabric strength. So in 1 inch, how much of warp thread should go and weft, how much of weft thread should go, so that it will not go for a slippage. So when you cut the fabric, the armhole should not have the slippage in it. So that made me introduce, say, like 100 yarns in 1 inch. And all these experiments were possible because of the weavers. They have small little looms in their homes. So I used to ask them कि अच्छा ठीक है अगर if you are doing this and I want to cut a fabric out of it and create a garment, तो क्या करना होगा? So they were the teachers. They told me कि let me increase the threads in it. So if there are more threads, it will hold the fabric. As I earlier said, in the quota fabric, you cannot create a garment. The threads are quite sparse. So these brought me to the blended fabric. Then many more things were, somehow got created, not by me alone again, by the utility factor. We started making 54 inches width fabric because certain times when you want to create a skirt and you want to make a circular skirt out of that, so 45 inches width becomes shorter. You can't get the full length. So many things are.
So the designing led to the
Yes, the
new
utility
technique.
led to the designing, you can say. But I'm talking of a very small field. Look at the world. The need of the hour was whatever was.
Right.
That's how things got created. You got the airplane, you got so and so, you got, matlab, the world has gone wherever
Right.
because of these requirements.
So I clearly see why you don't like to follow trends because you create your own. And speaking of which, I think in 2006 you
Yes.
developed this technique called boiled wool technique to create
Yeah.
a whole collection of angarkha coats.
Yes.
So obviously the boiled word kind of intrigued me for obvious reasons. But first tell us what this technique is and why did you feel the need to develop this technique?
Well, let me go to the point where I wanted to create a woolen garments, but a Indian attire,
Okay.
angrakhas and kurtas and things like that, because I always used to feel, since we are in Delhi and Delhi cold is very extreme, so the minute the winter comes, either we will go to the black coats all bought from West, or we will go for those shawls and lapet to ourselves and do whatever. So I thought, as a designer, why not create a warm garment?
Right.
And to create a warm garment, I needed the woolen fabric. So to get the woolen fabric, I went to Ludhiana and Amritsar. That's the belt for the woolen fabric. So when I bought the fabric, so I wanted to create something. I wanted to dye it in our colors because colors I do my own dyeing.
Okay.
I don't like the dyed fabrics because they are not coming to my expected color warmth. So when that was like a huge blunder, which turned out to be a blessing. So I put the wool in the boiling water, and then the wool became like fluffy and all like a rabbit. So I said, now what has happened? So, but they were so fluffy and cozy, and I thought, well, it is having a great character.
Right.
So I created, though, 2 meters of fabric became 1 meter.
Right.
So the shrinkage happened, but that softness, that something happened to the whole fabric.
Right.
So I called it boiled wool. And then I created the angrakhas and I mixed brocades with it, did the printing on them, and they were ecru only. I didn't dye it further on because the kind of color it came out as after putting them in boiling water, it was a very beautiful makhan jaisa color ho gaya
Okay.
bilkul. So I said, why spoil it?
Why?
It's looking so pretty.
But tell me something. The fashion industry is known to have a massive water footprint. It uses trillions and liters of
Yes,
water
very sad.
annually to produce textiles. But in your experience over the years, do you think the techniques are now becoming more water efficient or at least optimizing the processes to conserve more water?
Let me start from the beginning. When clothing fabric started happening, it used to be sustainable because we were growing the yarns from the cotton. and the cotton fields were there, sericulture was there. So when the pupa will be in the seed itself, so it will become butterfly, right? So that particular nest of the insect used to have such beautiful silk threads. So in the olden times, the weavers will use that to create the threads and weave the fabric. And the cotton was taken, then that's how we used to, as Gandhiji used to say, hand spun and hand woven. So we used to create threads out of that, right? So it was all very sustainable. And I don't think it required that kind of a water consumption as you need for any farming. That was the requirement. And then the things will happen. And then, of course, uh, we needed to make the fabric beautiful. So we will dye that. So dyeing was also like a, bucket dyeing. It wasn't like we never had any industry. So those are the times when the fabric was sustainable in the real sense, and the water was part of it.
Right.
We were not robbing the water from the earth. But gradually the need kept on increasing. Then we started making those denim jeans and those hosiery materials. So these are the fabrics which are not soluble in the earth. They take tons of water to get created. And of course, then later on they go for the landfill. So now, how do I say? I don't wear jeans myself, but the world is wearing it. And the knitted fabrics, as you call it, they don't dissolve into the earth. So they are the major culprits. But as a layman, they don't know. So I think what you are doing, Preeti, is something which is so very commendable that if the general public will start knowing about it, and they will, not only the public, I think in a major way, the government also has to do a lot about it.
I think once the awareness comes, the action will automatically follow.
Yes, and in France, what I hear nowadays that they have started going for the sustainable fabrics. So many of these things are required. The minute we reject, this will stop happening. But yes, at the moment, textile industry is the culprit of doing a lot of water wastage.
Unfortunately.
Partly, I think my question has been answered, which is coming up for you, but so I'd at least like to put it across. What role can the designers, play in spreading awareness in water conservation and sustainable fabrics?
Seema ji,
Fashion.
yeah, sustainable fashion, yes. Seema ji, it has become such a buzzword now, and I would say sustainable word has become like a lot of, you know, as you can say, people are using it as a vehicle to become little more famous, and
It's become more fashionable.
a marketing tool. They have made it into a marketing tool. So as a designer, I think we have got a very small voice compared to the larger arena of the whole noisy world. So on my own, I can say what I am doing, I am doing. जैसे कहते एक एक तिनका भी बहुत है सहारे के लिए, तो हमारा रोल बहुत छोटा है. We are doing that, but a bigger voice is required. Shri Ravi Shankar ji has been doing a lot of this water cleansing exercise, and then so many other stalwarts are talking about it. So as a designer, yes, I will keep on influencing you guys. Now I will see whoever over here is, if they will reject their denim jeans or not. Otherwise, it's just
We have to be watchful what we wear to you next time.
Yes. You can go for the cotton, sturdy material jeans and trousers or shorts or dhotis.
No, but it's very important. I think once we all start talking about it, I think awareness will come. I don't think half the people realize which fabric is sustainable and which is not.
They don't,
So,
yes.
yeah. So I
So
think
we have started putting in the so many fine lines into our tags that we write this and that. But it's a little, I'm feeling a little defeatist at this moment because everybody is so busy doing whatever they are doing, and then there is no mind space, there is no, uh, you know, in fact, they don't even read what's written. So then, मैंने कहा हटा दो, छोड़ दो, मत लिखो. So, it, I can say I'm a bit disillusioned at this moment, maybe, but still we'll carry on.
we'll keep
आप
the
लोग
hopes
मिलते
high.
जाएंगे तो
No,
करते
we'll keep the
जाएंगे.
hopes high.
So, Anjuji, I know that you are an admirer of Kabir's.
Oh yes,
And I'd like to share a doha in that spirit
yes, please.
because it uses water as its profound symbol.
Yes, that's so
So,
nice.
जल में कुंभ में जल, बाहर भीतर पानी. It signifies that no matter how separate we are, but ultimately we are expressions of the ultimate.
Yes, so beautiful. Seema ji, you could only say it so beautifully.
I know.
So
Just
nice.
flows into it.
Yes, totally.
On a lighter note, Anjuji,
Yes.
if you were to personify water, what
Yeah.
would you wear to your show?
I think, very nice lighter shade of grey,
Okay.
white and grey mix kind of a thing, a melange fabric,
uh-huh.
and then layer it differently. And when I move, then it kind of moves like this.
Oh,
So
how
I
beautiful.
can design something
What
like that.
imagination.
Yes.
So, Anjuji, lastly, a routine fashion tip that you would like to share with all our listeners.
Well, I feel firstly, the comfort of the whole attire should be there, because if you are comfortable, you don't have to think about certain aspect. You are there to perform what your duty is for that particular moment. So I always give comfort the most maximum numbers, and then of course it should complement you. Whatever your personality is, whatever your lifestyle is, you should look your better version after you get dressed nicely. You step out, you look nice, you feel confident, you feel happy, and the work you have thought of doing that very day is done beautifully.
Very well said. Very well said. So we have a small rapid fire round.
Okay.
We'll give you questions. Of course, there's no right or there's no wrong
Yes,
answer.
of course.
So you
Let's
can say
see.
whatever comes to your mind first.
Sure.
So ocean waves or raindrops?
Or raindrops. I say
Silk or linen by the beach?
linen by the beach.
Okay. Sea green or deep sea blue?
Deep sea blue.
Saltwater hair, messy chick or a total disaster?
Salt water hair. Salt
So
hair.
would it look messy or would it be classy?
It's classy. It's natural.
Okay. Which fabric will sink fastest if thrown in water?
Khadi.
Okay.
It
Fair
will
enough.
absorb the water
Yes.
so
And it's
beautifully,
heavy.
and it's
Yes,
heavy.
Yes. Hydration or high heels?
Hydration.
Okay, I think you already answered this, but I'm going to ask again.
Sure.
If you're stuck in an island alone
Huh.
with one outfit, would you prefer a practical outfit or a stylish outfit?
A practical outfit. I'll go in a shorts if I want to get lost in that Kaho Na Pyar Hai wala movie. So I said, good that woman was wearing only a short dress.
So true. Well, thank you so much, Anjuji, for taking out time and joining us on Waterlogues and bringing a whole different, fresh perspective to fashion. And we wish you many more milestone achievements and accolades in the future. And thank you all for joining us. And stay tuned and know your water, love your water. Cheers, guys.